today is probably going to be the most powerful one yet. There's a reason I've left this challenge for 2 weeks. This was the plan. So today we're going to be diving into visualization. If you've ever felt your goals are out of reach, they probably are, if I'm going to be honest with you. But this is the power of visualization, because this session will show you how to bridge the gap between your future self, your future goals, and where you are right now, because these are two different people, right? So we're going to dive into that. Now, listen, before we get started on section 1, like usual, we're going to have a quick hello to say hello to everybody. Caroline Stewart, good to see you. Where is the Mack Pack today? Welcome to the Mack Pack. Do you know what? I'm going to kick off every video. Welcome to the Mack Pack. Love it. Hi, Jenny. Good to see you. Barbara, Jenny Graham, Lucy Arnold. Who else we got? Anne-Louise, good to see you, Anne-Louise. Anne-Louise, I took some of your advice earlier, because you've changed the direction where this is going to go today. And I'll tell everyone what happened earlier. Julie, good to see you. Claire, good to see you. Barbara, just came off the treadmill, sticking to my steps, being consistent. Bash, how you doing? Kathy Noble, good to see you. And Brian Foster, good to see you. Brian, I've had a wee haircut just for you, my pal. Just for you, Brian. Had a wee haircut. I took your advice as well. See, I'm taking everyone's advice. So, section 1, we're going to get started. Now, I keep going on about this guy, Joe Dispenza. Now, he is a scientist and he studies neurology, but he also explains it in a way that is very digestible, right? If you've not checked any stuff out, just check out a 5-minute video on him, maybe later on today, tomorrow, whatever it is. Now, one of his famous quotes is, "Your mind doesn't know the difference between an actual experience or what you vividly imagine." Now, I'm not going to do it right here, but Google the word vividly, right? So I'm going to say that again. Your mind doesn't know the difference between an actual real-life experience or what you vividly imagine. Now, vividly imagining means visualization. What is visualization, Frankie? Well, it's not a case of just thinking something. This is where most people get mistaken. Visualization is something that's a bit more deeper than just thinking about it. It's where you actually feel that you belong. It's where you feel like you're going to fit in. It's where you feel like, I was born to do this, but this is so far away, right? It's in there somewhere, because it's physically impossible to imagine someone or something or a certain scenario in your head that you physically do not believe, if that makes sense. You can think about stuff, made up scenarios, but then that passes. If you find yourself constantly thinking about stuff that just pop up now and then, or something grabs your attention that you think, do you know what? I love that. Focus more on this kind of stuff. Do you know what? Sleeves are getting rolled up. Today's going to be fire, I promise you. So, what I've not done in any video is I've never given you a challenge yet. At the end of this video, you're going to receive something today that's going to be so simple, yet so effective in the long run. I'm not going to tell you just yet. However, what we're going to do today, I'm going to read out a few studies. I'm not a massive study person. However, last night, I really wanted to focus on today on visualization and some gratitude. Yes, homework, Angela. You're getting homework, because I feel like this is the second week now. The first couple of weeks was more about information. However, I wasn't taking my own advice. I was giving you the information, but not doing anything to make the transformation. So, the last week, day 14 to day 21, every single day, you'll be getting a step closer to whatever you write down today. And just think of something in your head just now, before the end of the video, because I'm going to be testing you. Think of something that you want a year from now, and that could be anything. I'm just going to leave that there. Just think of something. So, this study, researchers at Harvard found that mental practice alone can enhance physical performance. And I didn't believe this. I'm going to carry on. In one study, participants who visualized practicing the piano increased their skills just as much as people who genuinely actually practiced. Now, let that sink in. Somebody who thinks about... Let's change the concept here. You don't just think about it. You feel it. So somebody who genuinely visualizes by thinking, feeling, smelling, touching, playing the piano, can learn the same skills as somebody who actually physically learns the piano. And I'm going to say 95% of people watching this video think I am on crack right now. I promise you, this is so true. This is genuinely how I developed singing at the start. Hi, Dad. My dad's just tuned in. How are you doing, Dad? Am And by the way, I remember I told my dad this. In fact, my dad will back me up with this. Years ago, when I said all I need to do is visualize playing at assembly rooms or playing it in Vegas or thinking about learning how to sing, that these things would happen. And my dad was like, you're talking absolute pish. Like, this does not happen. And leave a wee comment, Dad. Over the past couple of years, anything I've ever said to you beforehand, what's happened? And this is why I can speak so passionately about this, because I know this works. This works without fail. It's never let me down once. Not so. Then it gets to. Then you think, well, Frankie, if it works, then why do you not just think about bigger stuff? Exactly. I should be. You should be. But you need to start off in increments to make this thing believable. You need to start off small, really small, for you to start gaining momentum, gaining the mindset, for you to be able to focus on the bigger stuff, which you just assume is going to happen. Like, I just assume stuff's going to happen now. I just assume it. Yep, that's fine. That's going to happen. Yep, I'm going to sing at Easter Road. Yep, that's going to happen. I'm going to perform 23 days non-stop at the Edinburgh Fringe next year. That's going to happen. Nothing's been signed yet. There's not an agreement, but I know it's going to happen one way or another, because it's impossible for it not to happen. I believe in it that much. And once you believe in something that much, do you know what happens? Your desperation goes. Now, remember I said to you the other day about chasing. If you try and chase 2 rabbits, you're not going to catch any. If you focus on one and strategically plan how you're going to catch that rabbit, by solely focus on that rabbit, you will catch that rabbit. It has to happen, right? So here's a true story. Here's a true story by Joe Dispenza, and you can look this up. I haven't made this up. I promise you this is true. Joe Dispenza, the scientist, the neurologist, the guy who thinks with nerves in the brain, he's a renowned neuroscientist. Now, he actually healed his spine through visualization. Healed his spine, right? Again, it sounds like I'm on crack. He healed his spine after a severe accident which left him with limited medical options. Every day, he envisioned his spine healing, and against the odds, he was able to recover and walk again. Spenser's story illustrates the transformation power of visualization. Now, even Joe Dispenza, who practiced this study for years, didn't really believe in this visualization stuff until this thing happened with the spine, and he's changed his whole life. He's changed his whole career teaching people how to visualize, how to meditate, how to... Now listen, I haven't started meditation or anything like that yet, which would definitely help me. Definitely help me. However, I'm on the visualization part, and I already know that works. So this is the path I'm going to teach you about. So before we get into section 2, just going to quickly say hello, Kathy Noble, feeling better today. Yeah, love that, Kathy. Bill Allen's on. Judy Thompson, hello everybody. Karen Rogan, Dad's on. Bill Allen. To imagine or visualize, remember someone or something by forming a picture in your mind. I used to do that as a car salesman, actually, to remember people's names. Bit late today. Leslie, not a problem. Just starting. It's all about the small wins. And Louise, it is. And I'm going to teach you right now, today. You will leave today with a different mindset. I promise you. Because I'm going to give you something so small that you cannot fail at it. It's impossible to fail at this thing that I'm going to give you. But this will 100% within, I don't know, even 3-4 weeks, you'll see shit. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for all the support from the Mack Pack group. Has really helped me to push through the bad days and make more good days. Kathy, that's the difference. Right, section 2. We are at basically embodying your vision and acting as if. So the way this really works effectively is, I've said this in a few videos, you can't really just think about stuff happening. You know, you can't think about, say for instance, I wanted to be a movie star. You can't think about being a movie star and then, you know, going to make a sandwich and then, you know, going out every night and partying and just thinking about it. You need to then become that person before that thing happens. So look at movie stars, say Gerard Butler. What's his habits? What does he do? Well, I know exactly what he does because I study this crap. And the reason why I study it is because I want to be in a movie one day. I've never told anyone that. It's the first time I've told somebody. I want to be in a movie one day with Gerard Butler. As mad as that sounds. So what do? So I look at what Gerard Butler did. He was a lawyer. Not many people knew this. He was a lawyer. And he got sacked for being a lawyer because he drank too much. He had too many parties, too many days off, too many whatever. And on his last term, he just decided, well, do you know what? I can't be bothered with this. He gave up alcohol so many years ago. I can't remember. Same with Bradley Cooper. You can go watch this if you want. Bradley Cooper, Gerard Butler, Brad Pitt gave up alcohol. Now, what's the common denominator? Do you know when you get your time back? You know when I said yesterday that time is the most important thing? Like, I'm the world's worst for it. If I go out the next again day, I'm hungover in bed all day. So you take about it in a year, you're probably wasting, I don't know, a good 3-4 weeks of your life. Imagine you had the extra 3-4 weeks to do something that's solely focused on getting you to the next level or next frequency or next stage of your life. So embodying your vision and acting as if. Let me explain this. Now, here's another quote for you. To accomplish great things, we must first dream, then visualize, then plan, then believe, and then act. Those are the steps. Dream, visualize, plan, believe, act. However, I'm going to disagree with that. Whoever Alfred Montapert is. So I would say we must dream. I get that. Visualize, yep, I get that. Then I think you must act. And then plan. But before all of that, you need to believe. The belief for me comes first. Because people say, I'll believe it when I see it. That's wrong. That's been wrong for thousands of years, right? According to Frankie Mack studies. I'll believe it when I see it. I hate people that say that. I hate people that say that. I'll believe it when I see it. What you should be saying is, I'll see the thing when I believe it. Change it. I'll see it when I believe it. So if you already believe you're a movie star, you're going to see opportunities in life that represent a movie opportunity. Or for me as a singer, I know for a fact my identity is a singer. I know some people see me as a role model, so I don't believe I am that, but I need to start believing I am that and do the things that role models would do, which in turn would benefit other people. Is that making sense? Type makes it, just humour me. Type makes sense if that's making sense, because we're going to get into something a bit bigger. Claire Alexander, my goal for a year's time is to expand myself singing in more pubs. Right, Claire, I'm going to use you as a little project today, Claire. So, in fact, Claire, I'm going to change your thing right now. So, here's the thing. So, Claire's just said, my goal for a year's time is to expand myself to singing in more pubs. Right, now this is a great start, Claire. Great start, because you know kind of what you want to do. You need to identify and find out how many pubs do you want to sing in this time next year. Is it one a month? Is it one a week? Is it one a day? Obviously, that's not sustainable, but let's be specific. So say if you said, you know what, Frank, not 1,000,000% confident just now. However, I think I could do 1 gig a month. Right, okay, right, that's doable. That's 12 gigs a year. Right, okay. I didn't know you wanted that, but already I'm thinking, who can I now put Claire in contact with? Because if you didn't put it out in the universe or out here on the YouTube, I don't know that's your goal. And I'm not going to lie, there'll be so many people on this live or so many people watching this video who know bar owners, who knows somebody's birthday that's coming up, who know, and this is another thing, you need to start looking at different avenues. Don't just think about pubs. Open your mind. How many people have got birthdays coming up? And if you're not 100% confident, why not sing at your friend's birthday? Why not say, do you know what, here's a gift for you? And of course it's a gift for them, but you're practicing. You're getting yourself familiar in that environment, so you're not just jumping head in first at a pub, which can be overwhelming. Believe me, I've done it. I've been that person. I've been overwhelmed, and a lot, even now. That Sunday, Claire, believe it or not, I was quite overwhelmed with how many people were there at the Bay Horse on Sunday. And as soon as I walked in, Frankie, and I'm like, holy, like, I had to change my whole act because I knew I wasn't going to get many jokes over because it was that busy. It was too noisy. I couldn't tell many jokes. I couldn't get the banter in because it was just chaos. So I flipped the switch because I had that much experience. I knew people are just up for a 3 till 5, you know, canter, Sweet Caroline, you know, Dance the Night Away, Run Around Sue, all these things that made that environment suit the energy. You need to make sure the energy and the environment align at all times. So that's why I like to go to David Lloyd and plan the next game day. What I've also done today, I'm going to show you at the end. However, so Claire, let's take you as an example. I'm going to use you as a little project. So I didn't know that was your goal, right? It would have been impossible for me to know that was your goal. The universe doesn't know that's your goal unless you physically say it. I instantly already have a couple of places where, you know, why don't you do what I did? Why don't you start in care homes? Because one, you're benefiting others, but two, there's not as much pressure. There's not as much, and I know that I'm not saying care homes are lower standard. However, there's not as much expectation to when you see at a pub, live singer at 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock, to a singer in the care home, people are already on your side in a care home because you're doing a good thing, you're doing a nice thing. However, when you go in a pub, the expectation is, well, you better make me entertained. I'm here at this pub to watch you, you know, you better make me laugh, or you better be a great singer. Take that pressure away and do, say, a care home or your friend's birthday, and get yourself familiar with singing in front of audiences at your pace and at your set list. Because you might do karaoke, which is fine, which is one song. However, you need a structure in your head by saying, well, at the start, I don't want to start off too heavy. I don't want to start off with the best dance songs, because then I've got nothing to fall back on later on. You want to, the secret to doing a good show, and I hope I've got the gist of this. The secret to doing a good show is by starting off nice and easy. In fact, I'm going to be a bit rude here. You start off with some foreplay, right? You don't just dive in. Start off with some foreplay. You take the people out on a date, right? Let's try that one first, right? You start off with Everybody Loves Somebody, The Girl and My Best Friend, Can't Help Falling in Love, you know, to get people on your side first. And you get people singing along at the same time. Because what happens is, when people are singing along at the same time together, they think they're all the same team. They're now in harmony with each other. So when one person laughs, the other person laughs. But when they two people laugh, if there's somebody miserable there, they have to laugh. Because people are sheep. People follow people, right? You don't want to be the only person that's not laughing. Why do you think I point people out all the time like that? Not because they are miserable, but because it makes them aware, like, oh, people are watching me, I need to smile. Now, because the miserable person smiled, the opposite miserable person thinks, well, that miserable person's, I better smile. By the end of the show, you have everybody smiling. It's so easy. And again, what was I speaking about yesterday? Manipulation. Use it in a good way. So, Claire, I think that's a great start. And it doesn't even have to be once a month. Why not plan? Why not say to yourself, do you know what? Let's try and get a gig in a care home every second month. And do you know what? Do you know what I would have done? I can't even do it now because I sold the PA system earlier. I was actually thinking about just giving you it. But somebody reached out and said they needed it. So, like, I would love for you to do that. And if there's a way that I can help you, I will help you. Like 100%. But you need to be serious. And what I mean by that is, I'll always help. But I need to see that you are serious about doing this. So I need you to reach out to 100 care homes. You know, I'm not going to do that for you. You need to reach out to 400 care homes, 500 care homes, and get 2 responses. Because that's what it takes. It takes that effort. People don't realise the effort I put into outreaching to people. What about a show here? What about a show there? Right, let's put this together. Do you know how many people I need to go through? It's like having an interview with somebody every single time. However, once you start getting a personal brand and a name, the magic happens when people come to you, if that makes sense. Care homes are a good idea. And you know what? You're giving back. Well, for me, I love the care homes. My dad used to come to every single gig and set up the stuff with me. That was like my little apprenticeship, you know? And you know what? I'll never forget that. And I felt really emotional. I sold the speakers today. And do you know what they're going to do? In fact, Claire, this aligns so much. I'm not going to tell you the person's name. They might comment, actually. I've not seen them on this. However, they're going to start performing in care homes. I swear on my life. I swear that's the God's honest truth. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to get the person to message me, and I'm just going to ask them, what are we going to use it for again? Because I know that sounds like this story's like made up. I promise you it's not. she picked up a little bit earlier, and I just said to her, why do you want these speakers? Because, you know, she was like, well, I'm doing this job, don't really like this job at the moment. She says, I've always loved to sing. And she says, I saw you at Sunday on the Bay Horse, and she was like, well, a bit of practice, I could do that. And then she says, I didn't know you did care homes. Maybe I could start in care homes, and that would, you know, build my confidence a little bit. Perfect. And you never want to, you know, charge care homes a fortune because it's got no budget. However, you get that feeling where being rewarded by doing that. Does that make sense? Is this making sense for everyone? Again, this is a different tangent, but however, Bill Allen, pro golfers before they swing visualize themselves hitting the ball. Another example, Bill, you're spot on. I used to get coached off two snooker coaches. One was Terry Murphy, one was Chris Small. And I used to be pretty good at snooker. However, I remember my first lesson was an hour with Terry Murphy. He was an Irish guy, left-hander. Great, one of the best I've ever seen, right? However, he didn't have the habits of a world champion. He had the talent of a world champion. He didn't have the habits of a world champion. If that makes sense. One of the best people I've ever met. However, I remember during that first lesson, he explained that I need to think 4, 5, 6 shots ahead. And I was like, what on earth do you mean by 5, 6, 7 shots ahead? He says, Frank, for you to be an effective break builder by hitting these high breaks, you need to think not just about potting the red and getting a colour. You need to pot the red, getting a colour, pot the red, getting a colour, pot the red, getting a colour, and then. And I was like, oh. I was like, but how on earth? How do I know what's going to happen? He says, you make it happen. I said, so basically I can control my future by thinking about it. My dad, it was class on all the care homes quality and cheered up the pensioners and staff. I know that. And that's what I'm saying. The reason I can do this is because I've been there and done it. And by the way, I've never actually used snooker as an example, but this is a perfect example because snooker players create their future. They already know what shot they're going to play 5 shots in advance. That's how you become an effective break builder. Stephen Hendry, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Selby, John Higgins, all these people basically saw into the future. That's a bit extreme. However, they had a plan. They knew what, they had habits of practicing hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a day, a week, a month, that they knew before they hit the cue ball, they were that confident in their cue action and the way they hit the ball, they knew where that white was going to land for them to be able to play the next shot. Because it's okay to visualize your next shot. However, if you don't have control of the cue ball, your visualization is pointless. So what I mean by visualization, if you want to do, say, a gig every month, Claire, there's no point in you saying, do you know what, I'm going to do a gig every month. Like, imagine this. Imagine you get a gig every month, but then you only know 7 songs. I don't know how many songs you know, but however, if you're not prepared, and by the way, you might get a booking for 1 hour, and then they might enjoy it that much and say, by the way, Claire, is there any chance you could do another half an hour? And if you're out of music, then you're snookered. So be prepared. I remember my first gig in Calypso in Tenerife. I only had an hour's worth of content, an hour's worth of songs, and I never spoke between songs. I had 0 banter. I wasn't funny. I'm still not funny now. However, I had zero. What do you call it? I wasn't good at communicating on a bigger stage. So I would just sing songs and have a little laugh, but sing songs. I remember my first hour was up, and Sean says, why have you stopped the music? I says, because you booked me for an hour. He says, but we do the hat here. Everyone does the hat in Calypso, and you do an extra half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever. I thought, Sean, I've done all my songs. He says, what do you mean you've done all your songs? I says, Sean, I only know an hour. I don't know anymore. So the hat went round, and I'd done the same set again. And people still speak about it. And that was me. I didn't know, but do you know what? I wasn't prepared. I wasn't, maybe 4 or 5 hours now, maybe. But, and by the way, that's being prepared. Because if an opportunity comes up of a lifetime, you want to be prepared for that moment. Right? So the important thing is, in section 2, the whole point of this section was you need to act as if you were in that position already. And I'm not saying, look, if you're a multi-millionaire, if that's what you want to be, you know, go out and buy a Ferrari. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, where would they go and have coffee? How would they speak to people? How would they walk? How many conversations a day would this person have? Because the most important thing in life is relationships and communication when it comes to growing a business, or when it comes to, you know, whatever. Somebody's beeping out there sharp. Here's another study for you, because again, this doesn't sound believable, however it is, because it's a genuine study. And these are two of my favourite stories. So the first study was a Cleveland clinic conducted a study that showed people who visualised themselves lifting weights saw a 13.5% increase in muscle strength despite not lifting any weights. Visualisation prepares both mind and body for action. And that goes back to the quote, your body doesn't realise the difference between a real life experience or a visualisation. It really doesn't know the difference. And when I did it on, say, Vegas, or, you know, the first time I ever performed at the Tropicana in Vegas, the only time, wasn't the first time for me. I performed there 4,000 times in my head. So when I went on stage, I was nervous, but I already knew how to deal with stuff that was coming. I already knew what was going to happen. I already knew what the lights were going to look like, what songs I was going to sing. So the rest flowed, because my body's done that 4,000 times. I visualised it every day for 5 years. Every single day. And an opportunity came up for that exact hotel, the Tropicana. That's bonkers. That's meant. In fact, there's another video, and I know I take the piss and stuff when I keep mentioning his name, but take Michael Bubl, for example. 2 weeks before I even met or even booked a ticket to go see Michael Bubl, I went on Facebook Live, and you can go back and check this. It was in 2022, and it would have been January, February, March, April. It would have been sometime in April when I'd done a Facebook Live on a Sunday, right? So you can check this video, and I told people, I'm going to sing with Michael Bubl. I'm going to sing with Michael Bubl, down to the song. Now, the song wasn't correct, because I thought it would have been like Bonacera or Love, however it was Fever. But being that specific on what you want, to the detail of what song it's going to be, makes it so much more clearer. And then randomly met Michael Bubl by the swimming pool. Randomly, he said, do you know what, I'm going to give you a chance. Let's do a song together tonight, you know? And he comes over, and although it was a short time, he still took the effort to make me feel special. Does that make sense? Which gave me the belief that I thought, do you know what, I'm worthwhile. I may be worthwhile for some absolute global superstar to come over at me and say, do you know what? And he remembered who I was from the swimming pool, because his first song, he came through the ground and he walked over to the side of the stage. He didn't know I was there, but when he saw me in the gold jacket, he literally went like that. From that moment, I did not care if I sang. The fact that he recognised me just made me feel like, do you know what? I can enjoy the show now. There was no expectation of anything. I didn't want anything from him. He just acknowledged me. And I think someone said it yesterday about appreciation. You know, you want to feel appreciated. That's a huge thing as well. In fact, do you know what? The A, well, by the way, we're going to have different Macks. So we've got mindset, accountability, community, and knowing why. Another thing that could be the bottom one is manipulation, acknowledgement. You know, we could create so many things. But here's one of my favourite stories, and I'm going to post I'll post the link to the YouTube video, because if there's any fans of Jim Carrey, right? I love Jim Carrey. He was in The Mask. He was in, you know, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, and this is on an interview. So Jim Carrey famously wrote himself a check for $10 million when he was still a struggling actor, and he carried it around in his wallet, visualising that one day he would earn that amount. Years later, he landed a role that paid him exactly $10 million. Jim Carrey's story reminds us to act and feel as if we were already there. So he would be driving, and I think it was it was some sort of Chevrolet he had at the time, but he would imagine that it's a Mercedes. He'd be driving along, and you know, he'd be looking at the window like, oh cool, because look at my Mercedes, even though it was like a Chevrolet with its doors hanging off. Now, there's a difference between being deluded and visualization. However, there's a very thin line. You kind of, in some ways, have to be a bit deluded at times. Everyone thought I was deluded when I said I'd perform in Vegas one day. I keep saying that, but the reason why I keep saying that is to get into you that like anything is possible. But you need to be hyper focused. You need, in fact, that's even the wrong word. You need to be obsessed, because your obsessions become your possessions. Oh, by the way, mic drop. What did I say? Your obsessions become your possessions. I'll let you have that one for free, right? I'm going to let you just have that one for free. Take it and use it somewhere, because that is a belter. Your obsession, whatever you obsess about, you possess about. Let's have a look at some of these comments. By the way, there's loads. Why am I not getting the comments up on here? There's loads of comments here. If the ball goes there, I do that. Where are we? Sorry. Brian, good to visualize, but got to be dedicated also. Exactly. Obsessed, dedicated. Yeah, exactly, Brian. 100% agree with that. I love Calypso. Think it was 3 hours from you last time. But do you know what? Do you know why I could do 3 hours? In fact, while I read these comments, somebody guess why I can do 3 hours. Take a guess. I don't think anybody's going to get this, and it's a lot more simpler than what you're thinking. Charisma, I love that. My goal is to lose a couple of stone. However, small steps. I've set myself challenging a few pounds each week. Before assembly rooms, Jenny, absolutely perfect. It's what we spoke about yesterday. Don't set yourself up to fail. Don't say, I'm going to lose 2 stone. I mean, you can say that, but set a deadline. If you say, I'm going to lose 2 stone in 10 years, that's achievable. I'm going to lose 2 stone in a year, that's very achievable. If you say you want to lose 2 stone in a week, you're just setting yourself up to fail. Does that make sense? So there's people guessing, right there. Your audience, that's true, right? But it's even more, no, it's not motivation. My dad's wrote because there was a bucket. I mean, Brian's put the same. No, you're not getting the point. The reason I can sing for 3 hours is because I spent 1 week learning a different song a week over 5 years. I didn't just automatically say, do you know what, I can sing for 3 hours. Does that make sense? I'm only able to sing 3, 4, 5 hours because it's like, Frankie, how do you know all these songs? Because I'm obsessed. Like, I'm a weirdo, because I know for a fact that I can speak for hours, sing for hours. I don't know when to stop, because I absolutely love entertaining people. I love making a difference to people. So I could be on that, and there's nobody even going to doubt this. I could sit here for 12 hours and talk to you, because in some ways I'm not even speaking to you guys, or you, whoever's watching here right now, who's smiling, and you're smiling even more. Do you know, already knew what was happening, because again, that's manipulation. Already knew you were smiling. Now you're frowning. You know, now you're thinking, oh, you think you know me? No, it's just being on a sort of different level, and a different idea of thinking to what you're used to. That's why it's called a mindset. What do you think mindset means? Your mind, duh. But you need to set it. And here's another little thing for you. Somebody's wrote, ha ha ha. See, do you get what I mean? That's manipulation. But that's not a bad thing. Because I knew you were smiling, it's not a bad thing. It's not going to kill you. However, I know how I'm 2, 3, 4 shots ahead to how to react. It's the same in the shows. Being 2, 3, 4 shots ahead at a show really helps to create that environment where people enjoy themselves. Does that make sense? Oh no, I better get dressed. Right, Leslie, I can't see you. Although, Kathy Noble, Frankie, I've watched your YouTube with Michael Bubl from meeting him outside the hotel to sing with him. Karen Rogan, wow, what a quote. Every goal you achieve will make you hungry for more. And what achieving goals is, now listen, I hate the word goals as well. I don't like that word. But when you consistently hit your goals, and this is an important thing, you can't just run a marathon. You need to start running 5 minutes a day to get you ready for the 10 minutes a day, to get you ready for the half an hour a day, to get you ready for, does that make sense? You can't just go in and sing 3 hours worth of content, Claire, and at the first care home and do 3 hours. It's impossible. You're not going to do it. You're not going to know how the dynamics would work. You're not going to think of that much stuff, you know. But once you repeat it over and over again, and find new techniques from the 45 minutes, you do that 45-minute show 100 times, you'll never have the same show again. You might do the same songs. You could sing the same songs for 45 minutes, but if you do it 100 times, you're going to have different ways of making people laugh. You're going to have different communications. You're going to have, you know, people don't come and see me because they already kind of know what songs I'm going to do. It's not the it's not the songs that build the community. It's how you make people feel which builds the community. Is that making sense? It's not the content. It's the context. It's not the content of the show, because somebody else could have that same content, but it'll be a different context. You know, a different person might be better looking, or, I mean, probably not. However, no, but you might get somebody that's better looking, or it's a little bit more funnier. That's a completely different show, doing the same songs to what I would deliver, or it might be vice versa. Everyone's very unique in their own way, and everyone's got a different story to tell. So, and by the way, you give somebody the same content, they're going to have a different visualization in their head of what the outcome's going to be. And most people, I'm not going to say most people, a lot of people think of the negatives, think of the worst outcome, and say, well, what if that happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? Well, every negative's got a positive, so why not say, how amazing would it feel if that happened? And already, you're not in a state of doubt. You're in a state of anticipation. And what's anticipation? Well, anticipation is when you get energy from an outcome that's desirable to you. And by the way, I stole this last night from Myron Golden. I stole this, 100%. In fact, where is it? No, we've not got time to do that. However, when you put yourself focusing on a negative outcome, that's when you get procrastination and you get anxiety. By the way, you get procrastination and anxiety. When you focus on a desirable outcome, a positive outcome, then you're anticipated. You know, you anticipate, like, wow, you know, I can't wait for this to happen. Like, for instance, if you knew what you're going to get at Christmas as a child, you're not going to sleep that night thinking about it, because when you wake up, you're going to get that thing, and you can't go to sleep because you know what it is. Does that make sense? There was a bucket. Your mic failed. I better get dressed. Shut minded. I can listen to you all day. Lay a brick. Oh, Caroline, lay a brick per day, and you will finally get the house you started. Caroline, that was better than my quote. Oh, Caroline, I've never heard that. I like that. I'm stealing it. I'm stealing it. By the way, we could actually make a book, all of us, with how many quotes there's been this week or the past 2 weeks, because you prepared and enjoyed entertaining time pass. Yep, totally agree. I've been good all day so far to lose this weight, which I don't feel great at myself. I'm feeling down at the moment with how I look. Kim, that's fine, because the most important part is the self-awareness. So yesterday you made the decision, from this day forward, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to eat less or drink less or whatever. You're not going to feel good in a day, and I'm not going to lie, and this might be a hard truth. However, you're not going to feel good in 2 weeks. You're going to feel the same. 3 weeks, you're probably still going to feel the same. 4 weeks, you might start to feel a bit different. You might start walking a bit different, talking a bit different. My clothes are a bit looser, you know? You won't start feeling good until you see results. But you need to go through that crap to see the results, because it doesn't happen overnight. For instance, anyone that's losing weight, you know, you never put 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 stone on in a week. No person in history has ever done that. It's been over time. It's been over habits that you picked up. That's why it takes time to lose it. And by the way, it's easy to lose it. And I'm going to get hate for this. Oh, but Frankie, I've tried this, I've tried that. No. Because there's 3 things for you to do something. And I've wrote these down as well. And I was speaking to a mate last night who does it, and he could not have put this any better. He's been watching my videos. He's not been commenting. However, he's been watching them. And he says, everything you're saying resonates, but he says, I'm going to give you a little nugget here. A little, fantastic, I got the sound back, Frankie. Did you just shut me up? There's a little nugget here. He says, there's 3 things to be able to change somebody's habit. And he says, you can maybe apply this to your audience. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he says, well, for me, he says, there's 3 things going on. When I'm personal training someone, there's 3 things. He says, you've got nutrition. He says, you've got training, and he says you've got accountability. And he said, imagine a stool, right? Like, imagine a stool, right, with 3 legs. So you've got 1, you've got 2, and you've got 3. And I'm thinking, right? He says, imagine you took one of them away. The stool's going to fall. And I said, what on earth are you talking about? And he said to me, so he says, I could give you the best training, the best nutrition, and the best accountability. However, if one of them's missing, you're not going to stick to the plan, or you're not going to see results. I says, well, I get kind of what you mean, but what's that got to do with what I'm doing here? He says, well, you're given the content, you're given the nutrition. I thought, right. So this is basically nutrition's information, what I'm giving you. That makes sense. Everyone understands that. And he says, the people then would do the training. He says, you can't do the training for them. They have to do the training. Yeah, okay. He says, you also can't make them eat. They have to eat themselves under your instructions, right? Okay, so you set them a nutrition goal, you set them a personal training goal. Cool, got that. But then the accountability. They need somebody to go to every single day at the start of the journey, whether it be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and physically say, by the way, this is what I've had to eat today. And for them not to lie is the first step. He says, because people will write, he says, I've seen it. I've had people write down dairy milk and scribble out, and they think I don't know what that means. We've all done it. I've done it. MyFitnessPal. Do you know what? I'm not going to put in that bacon sandwich. That's fine. If you track everything and you're honest with yourself, this is so important to be honest with yourself, and you show that to your personal trainer and be like, well, do you know what? You had the dairy milk, right? That's at least you can track where you're going wrong. Right, okay, well, if you swapped that for maybe half a size one, and you swapped the can of Coke for a Coke Zero, you were bang on track. And that's like, well, that's not that hard, is it? Let's try that. And over time, so basically what he was saying is, if you don't have all 3, you're not going to do it. You can have the best training in the world and the best accountability, but if your nutrition's off, he says you're not going to see any results. He says if you remove the training and you keep the nutrition and the accountability, he says, yes, you're going to lose weight, but you're also going to lose body muscle. You're not going to feel strong. You're not going to mentally feel good, and you're going to give up. He says if you have the best training and the best nutrition, but you take the accountability away, he says eventually you are going to give up. I've done it. I still do it at the gym. Because for me, when I had Miguel in Spain as a trainer, I was there every day, didn't want to let him down. I was posting my MyFitnessPal app. Look how many steps I've done. Look at this. You know, I've no one to share that with now. Does that make sense? I've no one to share that. I've got people to share it with. However, they're not in the same mindset. They're not in the same community, so they don't get it. They don't get what 10,000 steps means a day, because it's like, well, everyone does 10,000 steps. And I'm like, I'm not. You know? I don't have like a normal job, so like I need to physically, because people get 10,000 steps easily. I don't, because I'm doing nothing during the day. I'm not doing nothing. However, I need to force myself to do these steps. Go on different routes, make it more fun for myself, make it more engaging. Is that making sense? So you need 3, definitely. You need the information, you need physically you doing what is that's going to help you, the plan, and accountability. Without the 3 things, it's goosed. We're going to wrap up 2 seconds. So Kim, be proud of every step you take. Definitely love that. First steps will allow you to show you take care. And by the way, that's that. And Kim, I think what a big thing that you said yesterday is now you've got a reason to know why, because you specifically said, I want to look better at assembly rooms, I believe, than what I did in March. You've got you know the why. That's the why. So you've got that. That's fine. Community, self-explanatory. You've got the community, and you've got the mindset. You need that accountability. What's our homework? I'm getting to that. So being honest with yourself is key. Just begun recently. I track everything 100%, good or not good. And by the way, that is key. That's so key. Right, we are going to wrap up. Once you see and feel the changes, yeah, totally agree. So, homework time. I'm going to start off with something very, very simple today. Super simple, right? But I want everyone to do this and send me a picture of it. And by the way, this isn't going anywhere. This is just for me to keep you accountable. And this is just a little test. So tonight, and it's up to yourself how you do this, because I was doing this in my program last night. Because what I've done is, obviously today's been about visualization. In fact, just before I go into that, let me see if there's anything else I need to cover. I had a story about Michael Phelps. You get the gist. That's fine. Today we learned about visualization. Yeah, that's fine. Experience, use as a daily tool. Yep, getting to that. Right, cool. So tonight, I want you to do the same thing as what I did last night. So whoever's coming to assembly rooms, I managed to get somebody for the programs. So all that's sorted, and I'm going to start releasing them very, very soon. For pre-sale, just so I know how many I need to order, because I'm not going to do what I've done last time. Hi Helen, honesty is key, definitely. So your homework is, I want you to make you a vision board. And what do I mean by a vision board? Well, I'm going to show you exactly what I was doing last night, just to give you a bit of an example. Right? Now I want to scroll through my messages. Right. Am I going to show you all of it or not? In fact, do you know what? I need to set the example. I'm going to show you all of it. Right there. Right, let me just hide these ones. Don't want to show you the messages. So, last night, I'm creating the program for assembly rooms. Right? Now, one of the pages of assembly rooms is going to be my vision board for what I want in 2025 and after. And some of this stuff sounds absolutely ridiculous. But when it happens in a few years or a year, I want the people that have got this book to say, by the way, do you know what? He said that. So, I'm going to show you. So as you'll see, that's Easter Road, the Hib Stadium. I want to sing there one night, or one day, at the stadium at a football game. Also, one year I want to do the Fringe there. I want to either like do a couple of shows there, I want to do the first show or do the last show, whatever, something special at the Fringe. Because they're my two things I really love about Edinburgh, is Hibs and the Fringe. So, second thing is the MGM Grand, right? The MGM Grand is a hotel in Vegas that I will perform at, in one way or another. And it's green. Sorry, Brian. Second thing, this is Peter's Stage, which is his course that I went to, Millionaires Business School. I want to speak for him again, and also I want to become more, basically what I'm doing with this is as a speaker. And I don't want to be a speaker, I don't want to be a coach. I just want to be a relatable person that someone can look at and say, do you know what? This stuff works. That's all I want to be. I don't want to be a coach, I don't want to be a mentor, I just want to inspire people. Second thing, always wanted a black house. So let's put it there. Royal Albert Hall. One day I will perform at the Royal Albert Hall. And again, I can see some laughing, can feel it. But do you know what? Watch this video in a few years. Second thing, I want to do cruise ships. Another thing, cruise ships. The car that I want, Edinburgh Fringe. A top hit single. Live with my own band. And my identity project to kick off next year. So these are just some of the things that I already have in my head that I'm actually willing to now put out, because I've not had the confidence to put them out. But I thought, do you know what? At assembly rooms, my identity project, why not test myself? Is that making sense? Why not test myself? Why not basically say to people the proof's in the pudding? Because some of these are big things. These are not small things. Some of them actually seem unrealistic. However, if I'm not preaching it, I want to be able to show you that if I can do this kind of stuff, eventually, you can make that step to losing a stone. You can make that step to asking for a promotion at work. You can make that step to setting up your own business. And by the way, if any need help doing that, like I can't help everybody. And there's a way that I need to try and, I don't know if there was a way that I could help people hit their habits. Maybe that's what this might turn into. I don't know yet. However, your project tonight is to create a vision board, just 3 things that you want a year from now. That's it. Just go on Google and type in, you know, if you wanted a Mercedes or whatever it is. It might be a partner. You know, if you want a partner, visualize what they would be, what they would act like. That makes sense. Like the pie chart. I need nutrition and start steps, build strength. Love that. Are you saying that you should decide on 10 golden pathways to achieve what we desire? What does that mean? What's 10 golden pathways? I've no idea what that is, Bill. However, so that's your first part of your homework. The second part of your homework is this. Gratitude journal. This is what's going to make your mindset believe that this is possible. So, I've ordered a couple of these books, right? So I'm going to give one away. So it says, I am grateful for. So I've wrote down 3 things. I've wrote a general one. I'm grateful for waking up. I'm grateful for having a warm home. And that I work on things every day that I'm passionate about. Those are just 3 simple things. It might not mean anything. Once you get in a habit of being grateful, game changer. What will make today great? And I put more sun. But my second one's more specific. Someone changing their mindset that's watching this video right now would make my day. The third one, I was going to leave to you, but we're running out of time. We're actually really running out of time. Positive affirmation. These all start with I am. Don't know if you can see this actually. So, I am a role model and I inspire people, right? Another thing, I am attracting only things that lift me up in life. I'm attracting. What does that mean? I'm only getting stuff coming to me that's going to be beneficial in my life, whether that be energy, whether that be whatever it is, opportunities. That's the only things I'm attracting. Because once you start believing in that, you'll see the positive side in everything. Does that make sense? Is this starting my gratitude list this morning? Love that. In fact, Karen, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Good things that have happened today. Had my hair cut, right? And by the way, it can be this simple. Really simple. Gave my payout to someone that's going to start in care homes. And I've been asked to support a massive gig in February, which I'm not going to announce yet. However, these are things that you can do. So simple. So all I want, by tomorrow morning, because by the way, tomorrow I've got an ADHD meeting through in Glasgow at 11 o'clock. I need to pick up a car at 9 o'clock. So tomorrow I'm struggling. The only time I can do tomorrow is going to be 3 o'clock, and that's cutting it. So my plan is to be, I will get a video done, but we're going for 3 o'clock sharp. Right? That's the plan. I need to come back from Glasgow. Could you design and sell a branded vision journal? Could you design and sell a branded vision journal? I don't know if anybody would want to buy a branded vision journal. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if that's something that people, if there's going to be enough people on board, then maybe this could be something. And I might have already ordered them. I don't know. Maybe. So we'll see what happens. Jenny. So your homework tonight, for the people that are really serious about this, because not everybody's serious, and by the way, that's fine. I only want the people that are I want to give my time to be deadly serious about changing something. So 3 things a year from now, and that could be to do with health, relationships, and could be money, whatever. If it's money, have 0 limits, none, and just be creative. And I'm going to leave you with this one. If you knew it was going to be impossible to fail, what would you ask for? If you knew it was absolutely, if I had a magic wand and it was absolutely impossible to fail, and you could name anything you wanted, what would you want a year from now? Or 6 months from now? That's what you do. Give me something and tell me a date. How long? Is that making sense? So I've got a course with Myron just now. I'm going to sign off. Please like and share the video. I think this is going to be this is going to start to put everything what I've been saying into action. And again, you're not going to see any results for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, but your mindset will change. And I already see some of these changing by some of the messages that I'm getting. So even if I get 2 or 3 people that message me, you know, 3, 4 pictures and 3 things that they're grateful for, just 3, that's it. I'll genuinely see who's serious about this. Barbara, due to abdominal surgery, exercise limited. Yep. Focus on my arms. Yep. And by the way, Cafe, there'll be a solution. We'll get a solution, all right? So I'm tuning off just now. You've been absolutely fantastic today. Again, this was meant to be a 20-minute video. We're at 55 minutes, but hey ho, it is what it is. I just want to say very quickly, I'm absolutely loving this. I don't think I actually realised how much this would benefit me as well. It's keeping me so focused and so disciplined. I think that's because I know there's been different times at different days and whatever. However, it's very hard to do a live video every day at the same time. We will need a Mack Pack journal, visual journal. I love that. I tell you what, well, here's a brand new one, right? I've got one of these, and this is my one. So, whoever can, right, I'm going to give this away this time next week. And whoever's made the most genuine progress over the next week, I will send this to, because I absolutely love this. I was going to give this to a good friend, however, I feel like you have showed up every single day. Photo from Tynecastle tonight. Yes, Brian. Good son. Right. Enjoy, guys. All the best. And I'll see you. Stephanie, not a problem. We're going to tune off just now, Stephanie. Rewatch it. This is, by the way, this one's been a belter. All right, guys. Take care. And I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock sharp. Anyway, look at the haircut. Look at your shine. That was just for Brian as well.